Welcome back to Mythic Loot Drop. Today I'll be giving you 10 tips for the next time you play 9 Kings. And to start it off with tip number 1, it'll be to progress normally. What I mean by that is play in the order of the difficulty. When you're first starting out, you can only play one set difficulty to unlock the next, but when you start to play new Kings, you can choose any of the ones you've gotten to from before. So as you could see in this last clip, I played a lot of the beginning levels with King of Nothing and then my furthest runs with King of Blood. Tip number 2 would be learn matchups. And by matchups, I mean take into account all the troops and abilities and buildings that can attack your backline. The main ones you have to worry about are the Thief, Pagoda, Executioner, Elf, and Ballista. Learning these matchups and what these cards did helped me a lot in the beginning because it allowed me to plan for the kings that I was about to face. So Thieves, I hate playing against because they literally jump onto your backline and they mess up all the targeting in the game. The Pagoda can literally summon imps onto you in a boss fight. Typically, the kings cannot use their ability in just normal battles. Now, the Executioner targets people with the lowest health, which is typically the damage dealers in the back. And Elves have a low attack speed, but they can obviously get faster throughout the game, but they target your backline specifically, so it's dangerous. And the Ballista, if you have a very spammy build, it doesn't directly target your backline, but it'll go through all targets, which usually wipes out a spam build. And tips 3 and 4 go hand in hand in my opinion, and that is plan ahead for your base build and focus on 1 to 2 plots. So in this clip, you can see me deciding where to place the beacon. I knew I was going to try to go for a turret build or a dispenser build. So I went ahead and placed it in that corner, knowing kind of where I wanted my dispenser to be, to set it up for other buffs to be applied to it. And luckily, I got a dispenser right after, and I instantly pretty much put it down. And if you play your cards right, this next clip will show exactly what it can become. And here, I'm only on year 25, so this isn't a super long run, and I only have 2 beacons, not even all maxed, and a blacksmith, upgrading that 1 dispenser. And in my experience of all my hard difficulty and long runs, if you focus on 1 to 2 plots, you can get those super strong and OP rather than spreading out your power and becoming too thin, because the enemy is definitely focusing 1 or 2 plots themselves. And tip number 5 is play until you lose. If you're always ending your run as soon as you're able to without having defeat, you never really get to experience how powerful your build is, and you can't experiment because you always end it early. So just play until you lose. There's no harm. You get to test out powerful builds, experiment with new troops. Just go ahead and try it. Tip number 6 is about how synergies are more important than just raw power of a card. And what I mean by that is when you have options, if you have a certain build you're going for, typically you just want to keep choosing those 2-3 plots that you're upgrading. And in this clip, I'm going for a catapult heavy build. So I got a blacksmith upgrading the damage on my castle and then a beacon upgrading the attack speed. Usually I'd go for echo form, but I went for the temple because I'm not trying to duplicate my troop that I don't really care about, and I can't duplicate the castle, so I'm going for the temple purely in the hopes that it keeps buffing my 1 troop that I'm focused on. And in choosing temple, I didn't go for echo form, which in most other runs I would have chosen, so that would have been the better raw power of a card, but the temple can stack up with the build that I chose to do at the beginning. And here's another clip just showcasing that synergies between cards heavily outweighs the raw power of a card. And in this clip, you can see 1 blacksmith, 2 beacons that don't even have fully leveled are just decimating whole armies. It's still not as powerful as it can be because I'm on year 20, but with all the buffs being applied every year, it stacks up exponentially very quickly, so by the time I get to the boss fight, it's so much stronger. Tip number 7 is about king ability placement. And what I mean by that is with the catapult in this build, I'm specifically going for a high damage catapult, so I'm going to target the highest priority targets whenever I'm in a battle. And one thing to remember is not to have it on auto because that'll only hit the unit closest to your castle. So here I targeted the elves in the back first. And because I don't really have any tank troops, I wanted to take out the troops in the back that would kill my backline and allow their hogs just to get straight to my castle. And especially against King of Stone, the ballistas will ruin your entire run, so I targeted them first. And to support tip number 2 mentioned earlier in the video, knowing the matchups is important because in this next clip, I'm fighting King of Greed. And after enough games, I know how the thieves interact in battle, and I know they're going to jump my troops actually, so I targeted the first jump rather than the backline. Tip number 8 is all about perk placement. So this new perk revamp just recently came out, so I'm still kind of learning it, but from what I know, Verticalist is my favorite card, and with the Leftist, you can upgrade the top and bottom perk above and below Verticalist twice, making them both level 3. And this build is from my last video about the insta-kill laser, so I upgraded it to a 15% chance to insta-kill, and I got my base to level 18. and that is because of the verticalist upgrading them both 1 level and then the leftist upgrading verticalist to make it an extra level. Tip number 9 is all about money management. This clip is from King of Greed, so I'm gonna have a lot of money, of course. But I have around 500 coins. I have 3 plots of mercenaries, so I have to keep in mind any shop or resets or rerolls that I want to do. Every time I spend, I'm losing my army. And going into this battle with the Rainbow Army, I already knew most likely I'm going to end up spending some gold, but I had to know when to stop. And in this clip, I'm looking for Echo Form, what I mentioned earlier. I didn't really like my options, but I know I can't spend my gold. I'm looking at Shrine here, and Shrine is a very good card, but it spends gold every turn, so I couldn't do that. And I'm getting to the point where it's 30 per reroll. I go ahead and reroll one more time, wishing that I had RNG on my side. Decide one last time, okay? And I don't get it. So rather than spending all my gold, I just go with X-Ray. Tip number 10 is just play every king. In this clip, I'm showing that I have level 9 with every king, which was the previous max up until the most recent update. King of Greed was level 11 because I really like King of Greed. But it's important to play every king, one, so you learn the matchups and synergies, but you can also you're forced to use cards actually, that you would never use in other builds. And who knows, you might find your next favorite king. And if you've watched this far, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.